Good job today, man. It's one at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Mr. JetsCentral, we made it through free agency. We made it through the draft. Now we are at the final. The schedule is out, my friend. Now we can overreact. We can talk Super Bowl. We can talk undefeated season. We can talk about it all, man. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, dude, man. A lot of thoughts. And bro, thank you so much for having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
Of course, dude. This is fun. This is going to be a fun show because now it's just like a lot of us, we were new to the schedule yesterday. All the leaks were out and you kind of had a chance to like digest it. And I think the one thing that I didn't like was the reaction like, oh, the Jets are screwed. Like, dude, you have
wait. Sorry to cut you off. Are you talking about the 49ers game?
Yep. Just not even just in general, but just like the reaction was like the schedule came out like, oh my God, the Jets are screwed. We're always screwed. We don't get the benefit of doubt. And my initial reaction, even with the 49ers game, we'll go one by one, but it was like the Jets right now are primed to have a very good year, regardless of the schedule. On paper, they can go toe-to-toe with anybody. They can match up with anybody. They have a lot of good things in their favor. So I'm not going to walk in and be like, you know what? The world is against this. Like, I just don't like, I'm kind of excited, man. Like, right? Like, I don't have that defeated attitude.
Yeah, 100%. My bad. The camera's a little, there's like fingerprints all over it. Dude, no, I'm 100% the same way. I mean, what's crazy is like everybody, like we knew we were going to play San Francisco.
Yep.
Like, it's not like we got our opponents announced, you know, today as well. You know what I mean? Like everybody knew we were playing San Francisco. In my opinion, the best time to play the 49ers is in week 1.
Yep.
You know, you have all this time to prepare for a great football team. You have all this time to prepare on how to attack a West Coast trip, how to maximize, I guess, rest and recovery and figure out the best way to travel out to the West Coast to mitigate the jet lag and, you know, potential issues that come with that. And I mean, what's the alternative? It's either the start of the season, the midway point, or the end. And, you know, and let's just say this, you know, let's just throw this out there. Jets lose by 50. We're 0-1. You know, we have 16 games to make it up. You know what I mean?
It's like, listen, like we respect the 49ers, but at the same point, like I'm a Jet fan and the Jets have a talented team and you have the rest of this offseason to game plan and prepare and study tape. And I think having a team like the 49ers first away gets your team on full notice. But you know what? We got to be on point here. We got to bring our best version of ourselves. We have no wiggle room. We're playing one of the best teams in the NFL away week 1. So we got to get our stuff in order. And I'm like, dude, like it's all hands on deck. I think it could rally the team where it's like, you know what? We know we can't slack off. Like you play the Patriots week 1. You know what? No, you've got to come out firing or you're going to get embarrassed on Monday Night Football. So I think it's a good thing, dude. Like I don't walk into like, oh man, like, dude, bring it on. And like you said, you lose, it's one game. If you win, it's one game. But you know what? It's a really good test to see where this team is at. And I think it's, you know, I'm excited for it. I'm not, you know, I don't have this mindset where like, oh my God, this, you know, they've got to win this. You got to win that. It's one game. But I think the Monday night game is just, it makes it wild, dude, because you wait all weekend long for it. It's prime time. Aaron Rodgers returned to the field. And you know, when you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you're going to get 6 primetime games. This is what he brings to the table. Like, are you surprised by the amount of night games? I'm not.
I am. I think the Jets actually, I just literally saw something as I was pulling up the graphic from before that the Jets lead the NFL, or I guess are tied in the NFL with primetime games.
Yep.
I mean, people keep saying 6, but I count the London game as a primetime game.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, when I think of like a primetime game, I think of like there's one game going on in that time slot.
Fair.
So, you know, for me, I am a little bit surprised. I guess maybe surprised isn't the right word. Disappointed is the word. I'm not a fan of the primetime games. I'm cool with like one a year.
Yep.
I like the London game because I think it's awesome for international fans, right, to go to a meaningful regular season game. It's not just like a throw in preseason where
Yep.
everybody's, you might go to the game and see Rodgers. You might not even see Rodgers suit up.
Right.
Like this is real regular season football that international fans have the opportunity to go see. And I love it. And just selfishly as a fan, I do like that time slot early in the morning.
Yeah, me too.
And then if you win, you're kind of like chilling for the rest of the day, like in a good mood. But man, I despise, and we're going to go through the whole thing, but I despise Thursday night football. I hate it.
Yep. Me too.
I guess we'll wait until we kind of break it down and
Yeah.
talk. But Sunday night football, I guess would have to be my second favorite primetime spot. I'm kind of just, iffy on Monday Night Football, like 50-50, like it is what it is. It's been like a tradition for so long. But I am disappointed with how many primetime games we got because I'm just not a fan of all the movement and movement with scheduling is what I don't like.
Yep.
But I'm gonna sit here and say, well, the season's over. Season's derailed. You know what I mean? Like
it's just
here's something like granted, whatever, the schedule's been out for like 45 minutes. So we don't really know the full reactions yet, but I guarantee you, if you start texting your friends or other fans of the Bengals or the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Bills or the Eagles, whoever, think of any good team. Is that fan base complaining right now?
nope.
No, they're like, all right, it is what it is. We'll see how we stack up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where I'm at. I think the one thing I do feel bad about is for the Jets season ticket holders because you're opening up your home game at night, Thursday night. Like for season ticket holders to have kids that want to bring them the games, you have all these night games, man. It's really difficult. Night games are difficult. People that got to go work early the next morning. Like, I live down the Jersey Shore. So if I go to a night game, I'm not getting home till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to be up at 5:30 to go to work. Like it changes. Like the night game for season ticket holders really blows, dude. It makes it really, really difficult. For families, it makes it difficult. So the Jets season ticket holder, I'm sure a lot of them are disappointed because it's getting really out of your comfort zone. Like you're enjoying your Sunday 1 o'clock games. You're not getting many of those.
For sure, dude. And I mean, like it's cool because I've only been to just a couple of games at MetLife Stadium, but they've all been primetime. And like, dude, when I go, it's free, it's a madhouse, right? People are packed, tailgating, like everything is just going crazy. And it's like a fun event.
Yep.
But if you're asking season ticket holders to do that, to go midweek, Thursday night, right up, work Friday morning, Monday night, work Tuesday morning, time after time after time after time, it gets a little, I don't know, man. I'm with you. I love the 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff. That's my favorite time slot of them all.
Mine too.
Ideally, I would have every game at 1 o'clock and then one primetime game. That's perfect for me with 0 Thursday night games.
Yeah, I just think the Jets, the league thinks they're a team that's, the same hoopla as last year. Aaron Rodgers coming back, a win now year, a lot of pressure. Could be Aaron Rodgers last year playing in the NFL. Who knows? Like, there's so many different things that, it could be his last year playing. Dude, they want to maximize every ounce they can of this Jets experience, and that's where you go. So we'll bring up the schedule. We'll go, through them all and check it out. Everybody can share their comments. Coach Saleh, why don't you come to San Francisco for the home opener? Get a little sun. I'm not going to San Francisco. I'm out. I'm 100% out. So we start off, we talked about the 49ers, interesting game. It's one of the best teams in football, no matter how you look at it. Where it gets interesting is after that, because now a game that I had marked on my schedule was September 15th, the Titans, man. And my initial reaction is I want to go to Nashville until I saw the price of hotel rooms, which are insane. But that's a game where you look at the Jets are the better team, right? On paper, they're a better team, better quarterback, better all that. You're feeling comfortable that if you do have a tough time against the 49ers, you could bounce back big against the Titans. Even though you have the travel, West Coast, all this short week. Is it a concern for you, or do you still feel comfortable? Like, you know what? I'm good with that.
Well, to quickly just jump back to San Fran real quick, you can make an argument that based off of our schedule, and I'm thinking about doing a whole separate video topic on this because it just kind of popped in my mind. But I mean, look at the schedule. Who's the best team we play all year? The Niners.
Yep.
Maybe the Bills can, you can argue Buffalo for sure. But I mean, San Francisco was in the playoffs last year. They didn't really lose, an impact piece. same coaching staff, for the most part outside of C. Wilkes. But I mean, you can sit there and say, all right, well, let's just say, oh, the Jets lose week 1. You are literally playing the best team that you play all year. It's a road game on primetime football against a Super Bowl contender, and you're 0-1. So is half of the league. Literally half of the league will be 0-1. So,
100%.
whether you lose by 3, whether you lose by 50, you're 0-1. And then you come back to not necessarily the East Coast, but the eastern side of the states to play Tennessee. And I think the Jets, there's a really, really high chance that we can be 1-1. And I'm fine with that with 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like obviously you don't want to start off with 2 away games, but to me, it's like you go to Tennessee, and I think Jet fans this year, assuming that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, of course, are going to travel very well. Everybody has that game in Nashville circle that everybody wants to go to. I'm going to do my best to get there because it's just an awesome environment. You have, downtown Nashville, good time. It's a great football town, a lot of fun. So you figure festive environment, a very winnable game where you look at it, you're like, all right, tough week 1, week 2, tough. This is where I got a little bit annoyed. I'm not even going to lie to you because now you got the first 2 games, understand it. The third game, your home opener, Thursday Night Football against the Patriots. Now, the matchup, the team, I'm great. I love it. Bring on the Patriots. But I wish it was on Sunday, dude. The Thursday is such you go from the West Coast, 2 away games, and then a short weekend Thursday. And it's 2 different things. It's the Thursday night game. It's like your home opener. It takes away from that's my favorite game of the year, bro. Like the home opener is you spend all day, you tailgate, you have a good time, all this stuff. You wait all day for it. Thursday night just blows, dude. I hate that for a home opener.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm checking out Armin's comment right here talking about row 9 is $440 and after fees. Dude, that's a lot of money, man.
Yep.
Over $500. Is that for 1 ticket?
Crazy.
I guess so. Anyway, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally fine playing New England. I think we're going to sweep New England this season. So to me, it's like, all right, not to try to sound arrogant or cocky or anything like that, but at the same time, I feel like if we were to play the Pats in Massachusetts, in Jersey, in London, in Brazil, right, the Eagles, wherever we play New England, doesn't matter the time, the day, we're going to beat them. We're just in my opinion, the better football team.
Right.
But I'm with you. Like I don't like Thursday night football.
Nope.
I personally do. When I'm watching, I'm kind of like at times just like cringing because I know players hate it. Players don't like playing in Thursday night football. It's just there's not enough turnaround from the previous week. So you have that aspect of it. You have coaches look at the practice too. You're not right. So you have the game on Sunday. You're not practicing on Monday.
Nope.
You're not practicing the day before the game, which is Wednesday. So you get Monday and so you get 2 practices, not including meetings and stuff, but 2, on-field practices between 2 NFL games. Like that's to me a joke. And then you factor on top of it that, literally like Sunday night after that Titans game, Saleh, Ulbrich, Hackett, Downing, these guys, they got to start preparing for New England on Thursday Night Football because you only have a couple of days. It's like a half week. So it's like you don't even have time to enjoy the win that day, in my opinion, right? At least if you're a responsible coaching staff, all right, you better get to work on the flight home. So, you're at a disadvantage from a coaching standpoint. You're at a disadvantage from a player morale standpoint. You're at a disadvantage in regards to injuries going up. The probability.
That's where the play morale. I think players will get up for the night game. I know it sucked, but it's you're on the primetime stage. I think they'll get. But the one thing is the injuries is what's interesting to me because you have the Tyron Smith factor, man, where it's like him, Morgan Moses, Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury, Mike Williams coming off the injury, all these guys where it's like, all right, you kind of want to get them acclimated into the season slowly, but now it's like you're kind of going to be a little aggressive with these guys. Is that the concern? That's kind of what that early Thursday and kind of pisses me off too. It's like they're just trying to get in the rhythm. They're trying to get everybody on the same page, keep everybody, rolling. And it's like, oh, that short week, no practice, and back on the grind again. Does that concern you at all? Where just when you have some of these guys that are trying to figure it out?
A little bit. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I'm going to be holding my breath every time I watch Rodgers drop back or watch Mike Williams take a hit and all these different, injury-prone players that the Jets have. But, and by the way, my thoughts and comments on Thursday night wasn't just with this game specifically. This was with any team.
Yep.
Like, it could be whatever, Rams, Bengals, and I'm gonna be like, oh man, like, do the players really want to be out there getting hit like that? Do the coach like you? For me, it's just like I feel like I'm watching these teams at like 70 or 80%. Like, you're not getting a full game plan in, you're not getting full practices
100%.
in, you're not getting, again, the morale. You also have the higher chance of injuries. I don't have any, math to back that up, but it's just common sense in my opinion. So
Yep.
I would, if I was Goodell, I would just get rid of Thursday night. I mean, I understand why they have it, just money.
Money.
Midway week, but whatever. I'm happy though that it's not Buffalo on Thursday night or San Francisco on Thursday night. So
Right, and that's the one point. It's like, as much as I'm annoyed that it's a Thursday night game or home openers on Thursday night, it, not to sound like a jerk, but it's the Patriots. Like, that's a game like you circle on your calendar, like the Jets had to sweep the Patriots. And then you're looking at you're probably be in what, 1-1. This is where you start stacking wins here, because you figure who's going to quarterback going to be. Jacoby Brissett is going to be like, who's going to quarterback going to be? The Jets are the better team, on and off the field, you would think. So you're comfortable there. Then you could be are you looking for the Zach Wilson revenge game here with the Broncos week 4? What are you thinking, man?
No, I think the Jets are the better team. Although, crazy enough, the Broncos actually had a better record than New York a year ago.
Yep.
But I think this season, Denver's such an interesting team because I still think Sean Payton is still one of the best offensive minds in the game.
Yep.
I don't see him just laying down and getting fired in Denver. And I got to be honest, man, Bo Nix, I'm super, super high on. I think he's going to be really good. Not like a Herbert or a Josh Allen Lamar, but like just like a steady game manager, like a Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Matt Ryan type of quarterback early in his career. But rookie quarterback, I would assume rookie quarterback, right?
Yep.
Bo Nix over Zach.
Yep.
Going up against a great Jets defense in Jersey. So, long trip for Denver. I don't know. I to me, the Jets should win that game.
So now you look at this. This is the part of the schedule where it's like people are complaining about the end of the schedule. This is a part here where you got, Titans, young quarterback, Patriots, probably Jacoby Brissett at that point, maybe you would think, right? Then Denver, Zach Wilson, or a young quarterback. And then you go in Minnesota the following week, in London, though, which is kind of a curveball. But again, what kind of quarterback you facing there? If you want to make a legitimate run at the AFC East and make a real run to playoffs, this is kind of where you got to fatten your record a little bit. Would you agree with that? Because these are games that are like on paper winnable, that as a team with the talent they have should win, right?
For sure. I mean, let's just, kind of, I mean, I guess we can also do this too at the end, but if you just want to go through and just say, all right, the Jets are better on paper than these teams, we're not better on paper than those teams. Right. What will our record be if we take care of business against the teams that we're better against? We can kind of, go through that game. Yep. But looking at the first, I haven't really, so I didn't spend any time online today because I didn't want to see the schedule. I wanted to see it right when it released. So I don't know how all I know is that people, for the most part, don't like the 49ers matchup. Yep. And I was texting with my buddy today, and he doesn't like the whole London game. But I'm like, man, Darnold or McCaffrey going up against this defense, I like our chances, got to be honest. Yep. But to me, like in the first 8 weeks, so San Francisco through New England, or through that October 27th game. Yep. I mean, dude, in my opinion, at worst, assuming everybody stays healthy, we're 5-3.
Yep.
I think we're either going to be 5-3 or 6-2.
Yeah, no, and you look at the same way, because you figure the Minnesota game, I think for some Jet fans, I mean, it's in London, so for all the fans in London, Jets have an enormous following overseas. So for the fans over in the UK, I'm sure they're excited. In Ireland, it's great for them. For the fans in the United States, I think a lot of people wanted to go to Minnesota to go see a game at Minnesota because that stadium is beautiful. So you miss out on that opportunity. But going to London, you got to figure the Jets are a better team there. The traveling, what gets interesting is that, according to everything I've learned today, is that you have a choice to have a bye after the London game. You have a choice. You can say, listen, I want to bye after the game. You choose what you want to do. The Jets chose not to do that. So they're going to play right after they get back from London. They come back Monday Night Football, Bills, which is like, boom. Like, that's like you went from playing teams with these inexperienced quarterbacks or like a quarterback that's kind of like in a situation kind of in turmoil to boom, one of the best teams in the AFC. That's a big smack in the mouth coming back from London.
Yeah, dude. I mean, not having the bye sucks, right? I personally think I would have taken the bye, but the pushback is, do you want the bye in week 6?
Yep.
It's like, nah, probably not. That's a bit too
That's
early.
probably
You know
why
what
they
I
didn't
mean?
do it. Yep.
So it's kind of a a double-edged sword.
Carmine, listen, I have a lot of friends that want to go to see Minnesota, to go see that stadium and go see, I don't know. I'm just going by what I know. So maybe I'm not, but that's a tough spot. Monday Night Football against the Bills. But again, that's a game you're looking at. These home games you want to win, right? If you want to make a legitimate run at the AFC East, you want to win home games against division rivals, right? That's kind of like, you want to go, 4-2 in the 6 division games?
Yeah, I think that's totally a realistic goal for New York, 4-2 in the AFC East. But quick question: what stadiums have you been to, Tyson?
Oh, I've been to a
For
lot,
instance.
man. I've been to Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Anaheim. I've been all over the place, dude. I do it one place each year, so I kind of bounce around. I haven't been to Tennessee yet. That's why I want to go there so bad. But in Minnesota is one that's just so gorgeous. Like all these new stadiums, you just want to check them out, So
Oh
I'm not.
man, see, I'm the opposite, dude. I want to go to the I want to go to Soldier Field, Lambeau Field. I
Lambeau
really
was
want
awesome,
to.
dude.
Was it?
Oh, you got to go, dude. If you go to Lambeau, you got to do the full experience. Like, go a couple days before, take a tour of the stadium, go to their Hall of Fame, like, get the whole. Lambeau is incredible. So is Dallas, dude. Dallas is just like,
Yeah, dude. I just can't get into the new stadium. Like SoFi, bro. It's so funny. I'll joke around with my buddies.
Mhm.
I'm like, bro, SoFi Stadium is the worst stadium in football. There's like no heritage, no
Yep.
like culture or anything. It's just like this fancy tech building.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, Soldier Field is where it's at, or Lambeau Field's where
Yep.
it's at. And they're like, bro, you're nuts, man. It's just like so old school. I'm like, no, like amazing teams, amazing games have been
Yep.
played like on that field. I love it.
Yeah, like Kansas City's a place. Yeah, Matthew, he's good. Primetime's good, man. He's just doing his own thing. So I'm just keeping our channel busy, hanging out with Ian. He's good. Everybody's fine. There's no controversies here. Let's see. So so now we had, what game we on? We went through,
We
we
talked
had
about the London game.
London game, you get the Bills Monday Night Football. Then after that, you got back-to-back games. You got the Steelers at night, Sunday Night Football, which, I mean, that's a tough matchup, dude, because Pittsburgh is a very tough physical team at home, and that stadium is going to be a madhouse, right?
That's a team right there, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like nobody's talking about them winning that division. With Russ and stuff like that. But geez, Pittsburgh, in my opinion, like was the winner of the offseason. I mean, they upgraded a quarterback for literally $1 million.
Yep.
I would take Justin Fields over Kenny Pickett. They got 2 upgrades at quarterback for like $2 million. They get Patrick Queen on the inside of that defense. They make moves left and right in free agency, trading for the corner from Carolina, Dante Jackson. Then they get the 2 offensive linemen in the first 2 picks. I love what Pittsburgh's doing. I think Pittsburgh can easily get 11 wins this year.
Yeah.
This to me, rough outlook. Wednesday, May 15th, months before the start of the season. This to me right now looks like a loss, which is why I said before 5-3. Let's just, worst case scenario, we lose to the teams that were not as good at, we lose to the teams that you look at on paper and we're not as good as, again, on paper. Bills, Steelers, Niners. I mean, we're better than Minnesota. We're definitely better than New England.
Yep.
Twice for that matter. We're better than Tennessee. 5-3, I think, is where we're going to be at. If not, but I mean, who knows? Football's weird. What if we win a game that we're not supposed to? Now we're 6-2 with a home game against another primetime matchup in Houston. But sorry to kind of jump ahead.
No, but that's where we're at. We're at basically, but it's like you look at those back-to-back night games, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Bills, Steelers. That's tough, dude, because those are high-intensity games, physical games, pressure games. If you have global view about it, it's like you're thinking playoff seeding, whatever conference record impacts, all that stuff. Those are really big games in a year where you're thinking you want to win 11 games, make a run at something, like a run at a good playoff spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Then you end out here where you have the next game after that is the Patriots. So you got both Patriot games done pretty early in the season, which is good. But after Bills Steelers, the Patriot game's one you got to win, dude. Like, you just got to beat them up, and whatever anger you're left over from the Steeler game, just take it out on the Patriots.
Oh, dude, 100%. See, that's a game that I would like to go to, like up in Massachusetts. I've never been to the Patriots Stadium before, but that could be just a fun ass day, right? Especially if the Jets just like beat them down, like in the opposing, stadium. That'd be so cool.
All right, so we got 8 games. We'll go with halfway season. So you got 49ers, Titans. You want to figure out predict your schedule, your win losses right here for the first 8 games?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it kind of. I'm not going to do score.
No score.
Yeah, we can kind of go through win-loss, and I'm just going to err on the side of A, everybody stays healthy,
okay,
and B, I'm going to be on the more conservative side. So I'm not going to go.
I'm going to keep track of your record here. I'm keeping track of your record here. So we're going to go. All right, I'll put you on a spot. Week 1, Jets 49ers in San Fran. They winning that game?
I'll say loss. We've seen look, San Francisco, yeah, it's a tough team, it's a good team, but we've seen San Francisco like look horrible against the Bears with no talent in week 1 a couple years ago. Like it's not like we're going up against this freaking like it's not like we're gonna enter the game as a 10-point underdog is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you look at it where it's like, all right, you're Rodgers against that very good defense, but then it's like Brock Purdy against our very good defense, who makes more mistakes. You could say, you know what, Brock Purdy could make more mistakes. We've seen that in the past. We assume Rodgers won't make those mistakes. So that's an interesting game. I want to say win so bad, dude. Like I want to. Like my fanboy hat's coming out. Like I want to be like win, win, win. But I'm going to say a close loss. So I'm going to go loss with you. So you got week 2 Titans. I think we're both going to say win, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're 1-1. Then you got the Patriots, the home opener for the Patriots.
Yep. So win against New England, and I'm going to go win against Denver too. So 3-1 so far.
Yep. We're both 3-1. I'm with you there. So then we got Vikings in London.
Win.
All right. 4-1. Can you imagine the Jets are 4-1 at this point? We'd be unbearable.
That's what I'm saying, man.
We'd be the most obnoxious fans in the world if we're 4-1. We'd be talking all kinds of shit. All right. Now it gets interesting. So Vikings coming back. Then you have Bills. Monday Night Football.
Yeah, so for me, we're going to split with Buffalo. So, put a win down or a loss down, whichever you kind of feel. And we're just going to make it up with the other one. So I think the Jets will probably win this one.
Yeah, see, I think going into these next 2 games, the Steelers and the Bills, I'd be happy with a split there, to be honest with you.
For sure.
So, all right. So
either way, I'm going, and same could be said with the Dolphins. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe for the sake of going on this crazy win streak early on in the season, we can go with a loss.
Okay. So we're going to have the Jets at 5-2, right? Going into the Patriot game. Right? So you could be 6-2.
Yeah, we definitely could. I mean, I think the 3 games I'm worried about, or I guess worried about the Jets losing, again, assuming everybody stays healthy here, Niners, Bills, Steelers.
Yep.
There's a chance we lose all 3 of those games. But even if we do, we're 5-3. Assuming it's no disrespect to the other teams. Yep. But if the Jets are, losing to Tennessee or New England or Denver, like we got big problems.
Yep. No, and that's where teams that like legitimate playoff teams that are making a run of the number 1, 2, 3 seed, something like that. You got to win the games you're supposed to win. You have to do that. Sweeping the Patriots is a must. Now comes an interesting game where it's like back to your Thursday night games. Houston Texans. So you have a rough patch. Bills, Steelers. You get a reprieve with the Patriots in theory. But boom, here come the high-flying Texans who look like a young team on the rise. They can do some serious damage. Physical, fast, got the quarterback. That's a tough one there, man. What do you think there?
I think 50-50. Could go either way. I like the Jets' chances in this one. I think Saleh knows this defense in and out. He knows D'Amico Ryan and Ryan's and how he calls his defense, and I mean it's pretty much the same idea and philosophy, right? So
Yep.
I think with Saleh kind of being like the wizard, like the mastermind behind it, uh,
Yep.
I think he's going to know how to make CJ Stroud tick. And I don't think D'Amico Ryans can do that to Aaron Rodgers. I think Saleh can simulate a lot of what Ryans wants to do throughout that week of practice. Wait a
Mhm.
second. Is this another freaking Thursday night game?
It is.
So we only have the 2 weeks sorry, the 2 days of practice again.
Yep.
But I trust Rodgers' ability to break down a defense as opposed to Stroud if we're talking about going up against the same defense on a short week.
Yep.
And also, too, the Jets beat Houston last year, of course. Not the same team, but I look at New York as a much, much, much better football team this go round.
All right. So we're giving them a win, beating the Texans. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals, who, Kyle, good.
But that Texans game is 50-50. I'm not
Yep.
going to guarantee a win. If the
Yeah.
Jets lose it, it's not, completely, it's not over or
Right.
anything. 50-50, 51-49. We'll see how, the season kind of plays out, but I don't put Houston on the same level as the Steelers, Bills, or Niners. I feel,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. See, I think pretty highly of the Texans, man. I think they're just going to keep building and stacking onto it. But I think having them at home is interesting. Short week. The thing of the short week thing just bothers me, especially with a team like this. The guys like Tyron Smith and stuff. I'm hoping, but I guess my saving grace would be we're all expecting Aaron Rodgers to play at a pretty high level, and that can hide a lot of deficiencies and help in a lot of variety of ways too. So we'll go from that. Then you have the Cardinals, man, who a team that's kind of in flux a little bit. Kyler Murray's back. He came back. He played pretty well, running around with his hair on fire, doing all kinds of stuff. What do you think about the Cardinals?
See, this is a game that, we should win this one.
Yep.
But Solo always has these clunkers that you just, they roll out and they're just starting slow. They look lost. The game plan is horrible. And before we know it, we lose the game. This, if we beat Houston and we have a bye week coming up and we got Indy the next week on another primetime game, I think, the extra days to prepare for Arizona, it kind of feels like if the Jets are whatever 7-2 or
Yep.
6-3,
Yep.
I don't want this to be a sleeper game where we take our foot off the gas pedal and Arizona just has this upset win across the country. So I'm going to say win, but this to me kind of feels like one of those, again, sleeper type of, oh yeah, we're going to, this is going to be a cakewalk. It's Arizona. They suck. They're young. They're rebuilding. Hold on a second. Gannon has these guys playing hard and fast every single week. They pushed teams to the limit a year ago, and they got way better in the offseason. But I'm still going to go with a win.
Yeah, and you make an excellent point because you're going from Thursday night football, Texans, heated game. After the Cardinals is another night game against the Colts. That could be a game where you almost look ahead, primetime game, a little bit of a letdown, emotional letdown. That could be your typical trap game, right? For the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's a game they should win because we have them, and right now we have the Jets at 7-2 going into that game. I mean, if they had a hiccup and there's one of those, you said a clunker where there's always every team has it where they just don't show up. They just lay down and get their asses beat, especially on the road. This could be a scenario for that, but I'm going to go with you and just have like this Jets faith. So we're going to be 8-2 right now. Can you believe this? So we have 8-2 and we're going into another night game, which is just wild. Sunday night football before the bye, the Colts.
See, I think this is another sleeper here. Because I had the Jets going with a win in those with the big three, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and San Francisco. Because when I was first looking at it, I was, I think realistically probably 5-3, but since in this situation, or this hypothetical, we're coming out of that as a 6-2 team.
Yep.
And we're beating Houston hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't lay an egg against Arizona. I'll say the bad luck kind of, or the clunker comes now against Indy, which I think we'll be able to control Anthony Richardson. But the one thing that makes me nervous, and same could be said with Kyler Murray, it seems like Jets defenses get exposed by great running quarterbacks. Guys that kind of not necessarily will just, quarterback draw types of things, but like when QBs get outside the pocket, in this 4-3, they just do. I mean, dude, there was times where Mac Jones he was breaking through the pocket and picking up 10 yards on a 3rd and 10, and he's not even a running quarterback.
Yep.
He's not even a mobile guy, but yet he was doing damage with his legs. So Kyler Murray, look, you could have the best defense with 11 Hall of Famers out there. If you have 7-8 seconds to throw to make a play if you're a quarterback, or not even make a throw, tuck it and run, you can hurt defenses. Richardson and Kyler have that ability. So that's what makes me really nervous about both of those games. But yeah, I mean, I could see the Jets beating the Colts, but just trying to be realistic here. We're definitely going to have at least one clunker this season where, oh yeah, we got this game, and then we crap the bed. So
yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm almost like we did earlier with the Bills and the Bills and the Steelers. I'm almost like we're gonna slip. You're gonna split these games between the Colts and the Cardinals. They're gonna lose one of those games. Not that it's just I kind of get that feeling kind of where you're at. You hate to lose right before the bye because that kind of blows going to the bye off a loss. But if even at that, dude, right now at week you have the Jets at 8-3 going into the bye week. That's incredible, right?
Yeah, which was the whole point of the reason why I wanted. You don't assume wins, right? Especially with what happened last year. But again, assuming everybody stays healthy. But I'm happy that the weaker teams, the easier opponents, are jammed in the front of the schedule when there's going to be a learning curve for the offensive line to build chemistry. When the media is going to be all eyes on the Jets, wanting us to fail and whatnot. If we're winning games week after week, the media is going to be off our back. You know what I mean? So it's going to quiet noise. Yes, it will raise expectations, but I think the fan base is going to be excited. The players are going to be excited. I mean, the coaching staff should expect this with the amount of moves that they made. So, it is what it is there. But yeah, and then also too, ramping into the trade deadline. If you're going to be making a trade, like a big time trade where you're going to be moving a 1st-round pick, you're thinking, oh yeah, we're a great team, multiple games above 500. We're adding a win now piece. Oh, and the 1st-round pick that we're going to trade is probably going to be like 28, 29, right? Whereas if we're 3-5 and we're like, oh God, we're kind of a win now team. We feel good. We want to make a push, but let's just trade this first for, take your pick of, whatever impact player. It's like, optically speaking, it's like, oh geez, we got to win 2 or 3 games to get back to 500. Which is middle of the road. And if we fail or if we come up short, now all of a sudden we're trading away the 13th pick or the 14th pick.
It's tough.
Even if we're the same exact team. So I think starting off fast is so damn important.
Yeah, 8-3 to bye be awesome. A couple questions real quick. Of course, we always got to do worst case scenario, right? Jets go 0-4. Do you see Sal getting the boot? I do. I think they'll make a change, and Jeff Ulbrich could be the coach. I definitely do. If they come with this schedule we just went over, and they come out 0-4 to start the season, the Jets are making a change. Salah will never last. There's no way he'll last that. Because win now year, Rodgers, all the turmoil, fans be pissed, all the night games. I mean, this would be a bona fide disaster.
Dude, yeah, it's like unprecedented to fire a coach within the month of September.
I would do
well,
it.
I guess maybe September 30th, but I would make an argument that if they start 0-3, like the seat is piping hot.
If the Jets make the playoffs but lose 1st round, does Sal get fired? I will say no, because that'll probably be enough to get Aaron Rodgers to come back next year. But I think that'd be extremely disappointing. What do you think?
I think it depends on who we play and how we lose. If we lose by a field goal in the ends to Kansas City or Baltimore, he'll come back. But if we get our ass beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns, just get humiliated and just get, you're just a quick one and done in the playoffs, like no fight at all. The opposition was just, doing laps around us. Then yeah, I can see him getting canned.
Yeah, especially it's like you said, the preparation. Was he thoroughly out coached? Did the team show up? sneakers to boots, the tickets for all the games are ridiculous. They are. I mean, ticket prices are just out of control. Even like I'm saying, like I looked up the Nashville hotels that be in downtown Nashville. It's $550 a night, $600 a night per room. I'm like, what? Like I can go to Aruba for some of these prices and go hang out and like and go just whatever. But yeah, ticket prices. But this is when you have a primetime team with Aaron Rodgers. People are gonna make all the money they can. So that's just unfortunately the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was thinking about going to that Jags game, but bro, if the tickets are $500 man, I'm probably gonna pass on this season.
Well, if you go to a Jags game, I'm going to that game. Then we gotta hang out.
Dude, for real, man. I'm always down. And that's actually one of the few stadiums I've actually been to. Kind of going back to that convo, been to the Jets, Eagles, Dolphins, Bucks, Jags, and that's it as far as the pro stadiums go.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any. I've seen the Carolina Panthers and seen the New Orleans Saints from afar, but and also have seen the Vegas Stadium. But actually, you know what? I went to Jets Bills. When Darnold was the QB, last game of the year up in December.
Oof.
And it was like pouring rain. It was freezing cold. It wasn't below the freezing, so there was no snow, just like ice cold rain. But I did like that stadium. It kind of has like a high school vibe to it, in a good way.
Yeah, Bill's Stadium is definitely like a old school. Miami Stadium is pretty nice. I was in Miami 2 years ago. That was a pretty cool stadium. It's nice, modern, really cool. We had club seats. We had the nice bar downstairs and stuff, which is kind of cool. I'm definitely not going to San Francisco.
Yeah, dude, because then you got to factor the flights too. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I think Miami Stadium is people, complain about it like, oh, it's a soccer stadium and stuff like that. But dude, like wherever you're sitting, like you get some pretty nice shade. The parking is an issue though. Like it takes
Wait, hold on, bro.
Out of there.
Miami's smart. They put the Jets on the sunny side. So when the sun goes down, the shady side is behind the Miami bench. We roasted our asses off, dude. Like I get pretty good. Dude, I was like burning through my tan. I was so hot on that side. It was just, it's relentless. And there's no breeze. It's like you just sit there and just melt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been to a couple games there where it's like, you'll go, whatever. I mean, down in Florida, as you know, like it's hot as hell in October, November. But, if you get a shady seat, you're just kind of chilling.
Yeah. I wasn't chilling. I was watching horrible football and I was watching melting. So, all right. So we have us at 8-3 going into the bye, which would be completely insane. The level of trash talking from Jet fans would be wild. You come out of the bye, Seattle Seahawks, which are an interesting team because they're kind of a team that's, where are they going? Are they going to be with Geno Smith? What are they going to do? Who's the quarterback going to be at that point? What are your thoughts on the Seahawks coming out of the bye?
Seahawks, man, Seattle's tough because it's like, I think Mike McDonald, the new head coach there, is going to really turn some heads. I think he's going to be like the new, like hot young coach, that the new guy that everybody's like obsessed with. Last year was like D'Amico Ryans, Sean McVay was that guy at one point. Kyle Shanahan was that guy at one point. I think Mike McDonald's the next guy up. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's really, you can only go up defensively. Right. I think the Jets are the better football team, but it's not a for sure. Like, not one that I'm like, oh, Seahawks win. It's like, I'll probably go with New York.
Yeah, I'm saying coming out of the bye, that's a game. In theory, they got to win that game, man. You got to start rolling again. So you got them. Then you finally in December get the Dolphins, which is crazy. Where you're looking at you have 5 games left, and 2 of them with the Dolphins. You finally see them then, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because you figure you're playing at your peak level at that point as a team. Everybody's adjusted. You got it all figured out. Miami's kind of settled into. What do you think about the Dolphins there? You looking for a split there? Or you trying to sweep them this year?
I mean, yeah, like you're always trying to sweep, but it'll realistically probably be a 1-1. So I'll say loss this week, but come back with a win later.
All right. So you got us at 9-4. Then you have the game that we may be hanging out at. The Jaguars, December 15th.
This is going to be tough. Like, how do the Jets adjust, to the back-to-back weeks in the heat? Jacksonville is a stadium where it gets freaking hot, man.
Yeah,
That
looks like
is
it.
like, dude, every game I've been to go see Jets Jags, I'm just drenched in sweat with not even like 5 minutes into the game. You're just sitting there dying. There's no like, at least for me, there's no shade
Yep.
if you're actually watching the game in your seat. So, I think it's going to be tough. I've said in the past, in past Jets years, when the Jets played the Jaguars late in the year, like it's an automatic win, and
Mhm.
we got humiliated on Thursday Night Football,
We sure did.
and the Jags are a better football team, now than I think they were last year, and I think they're going to be in a similar spot where they got to keep up with Houston. So it's this one's tough, but I still like the Jets' chances.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets in this game. I think this is a game they need some paybacks, and I think they're beat up Trevor Lawrence. Now, Dante, you purchased tickets to the home opener, which is incredible. I'm curious how much they were, because my buddy just texted me too, so the prices are absolutely insane for the home opener, even on a Thursday night. But again, it's Rodgers' first home game. I get it. There's gonna be a market for it, so I can only imagine. I mean, that's gonna be wild. And congratulations on tickets. That's freaking great. But all right, so we got Jaguars. We both of us win. Here comes a game where it's like this could be one of the toughest games on the schedule too, as well, with the Rams, man. Depending on how they're playing, that's an interesting matchup. December 22nd, the Rams.
Yeah, for the sake of the schedule, I'll say loss here. I do think the Rams are a better football team.
Yep.
They're definitely better coached. Um, I think the Rams, man, like you look at what they did last year. This was another team that I felt like won the offseason with Pittsburgh. Like the moves that they made were freaking awesome. They were flying under the radar, bunch of underrated guys. They filled a bunch of needs. They rebuilt the inside of their offensive line. But I think, if Stafford's hurt, then it's us every day of the week. But if Stafford's playing, I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I think I am too. I gotta. That's the game I just don't. You like to see them win that one, but I don't think they're going to be honest with you. So you follow that up. This is a tough little swing here, man. You go on Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams, Buffalo Bills. That's tough. That is a tough schedule right there. There's a portion in the beginning of the season where you're like, all right, I like these games. Could be a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, teams that are rebuilding. The end of the season, man, even the Seahawks could be a team that's in a playoff hunt at that point. This end of the schedule is kind of difficult, man.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like we'll go 1-1. I mean, we could get swept by Buffalo. We could sweep them. Like the
Yep.
Bills and the Jets, I feel like are pretty close. I still think the Bills are better,
Yep.
but yeah. So 1-1 for me. So the opposite of the one that
Right.
the
Yep.
result of the early one.
And then you end it with Miami to be determined what the day it is based on the importance of the game. So you're ending. Listen, if you're contending for the AFC East, you're getting a chance to probably play one of the teams that you're probably going against. If you're the Patriots, will not be going for the division title. So you have a chance to make up ground with two division opponents the last 2 weeks of the season. So you get the Dolphins to end the year.
Yep. Yep. And again, split with that too. Although I do like the Jets' chances of sweeping Miami better this year than in previous years.
Yep.
Because I do like how Miami has to go to Jersey in the last game of the season where it's going to be cold and frigid, or
Yep.
and it's just going to be a tough place to play for
Yep.
Miami, and they've shown that they start breaking down.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and you figure if that game has any kind of importance, it's gonna be a madhouse, home field advantage, chaos, cold weather, nasty. I think that's a game the Jets would win. But I'm with you. Like you want to see them, sweep the Dolphins, but I'm not so sure about that, dude. Like again, I'd be comfortable with it. Like if you split with the Dolphins, split with the Bills, sweep the Patriots, you get your 4 wins, and you got to find, you just got to get. Because I think we have both have them at 11 wins for the year, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, if you get 11 wins, is that enough to win the AFC East? Is the question.
I don't think so. I think
Really?
yeah. I mean, to me, it's like if you get 11 wins, I don't think we're guaranteed the AFC East crown. I think we're guaranteed playoffs,
Yep.
but not the AFC East.
Yeah, man, I want the AFC East bad, dude. I want it so bad because this is the year, isn't it? In theory, this is probably the year to do it for the Jets, right? This is like on paper, this is probably the best team they've had since when?
I mean, since 2010.
Right? It's got to be, right? It's better than the 2015 team because that was friggin' what? Fitzpatrick. Rodgers is better than him. You had Decker and Marshall. You had a lot of good things, but I think the defense is better. The offense is better. The quarterback is better. So you're going to go back to 2010. Like, this is probably the Jets' best chance to win the AFC East. If they don't, I'm going to be disappointed. Do you think the Bills are going to win 12 games?
Yes, I do.
Think so?
I mean, dude, they're well coached, top 2 quarterback, top 5 defense. They have a night with Joe Brady at the helm. Dude, I'm shocked that people are hopping off Buffalo so quickly after the Stephon Diggs trade. I mean, they kind of did the same. A lot of people did the same exact thing with the Chiefs when they traded Tyreek Hill. Like, oh, they're done.
Yep.
They're not horrible, but 10 wins when Mahomes doesn't have any receivers. I look at the Bills' roster construction. Like, they don't have many weaknesses. I think the biggest loss for Buffalo is going to be losing Leonard Floyd, who, not going to bring up the Achilles thing, but he had 9.5 sacks last year on a 1-year deal. He's out the door. They didn't replace him.
Yep.
Keon Coleman, round 2, a guy who I was super high on.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel. They're going to use James Cook in the passing game a lot, and then Dalton Kincaid almost had 1,000 yards receiving last year. I thought he had like 600. But I saw his rookie card and I turned it around. I had like over 800. I'm like, oh my God, like, how did Dalton Kincaid have this many freaking receiving yards? I think it's an offense that's going to go up the seams a lot. So, Von Miller is definitely overpaid. And Trey White was hurt all last year, and Jordan Poyer is just on a decline, older and slow.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's like I just respect Buffalo. I think Joe Brady and Josh Allen, I think he ran a lot more. He looked a lot more comfortable. He didn't feel like he had that pressure to force the ball to Diggs. They could open up a lot and do a lot more things without that burden of like, I got to get him his 9 touches a game. Kind of that went with him. So, but now the take on the Dolphins is interesting because they have a crazy amount of speed. They just added Beckham. The running backs can fly. The wide receivers are good. I think the question there is, how do they play in cold weather and what happens with Tua? And I think you almost can make an argument you have a blueprint how to kind of defend Tua, right? Like, you can, similar to the way Chad Pennington was a few years back, where like his arm was kind of limited in certain areas where you can scheme for it and force him into bad decisions. Do you feel that same way with Tua, or do you think he's evolving enough where you can't kind of pigeonhole him into like a certain defense?
It's tough because I feel like with Miami, well, so first off, last year they had a ton of injuries as the season went on, they just got more and more beat up.
Right.
And I know a lot of people were like, oh, the Dolphins are pretenders and stuff like that against the Chiefs. But if you look at how many players did not play, there were so many, they had so many injuries.
Yep.
Just like us. But I think with Miami, it's almost like the league catches up to Mike McDaniel's offense 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks into the year. And it's like, as soon as they do, I don't know if it's the cold weather. I don't know if it's defense just getting the better of Miami. They just know what they're going to do. It's just so hard to put your finger on. But you just it seems like Mike McDaniel is such a streaky head coach. He's going on winning streaks and then a massive losing streak and then another winning streak and then another losing streak. It's tough. It's, the Dolphins play Dolphins football and they're not going to change. So I think if you match up well with that style, right, like fast athletic linebackers and whatnot, or if you have coaches that, know those systems well, you're going to fare pretty well against them. But Matt, I'm looking at your comment now. Thoughts on Chop? I was a little confused by the Chop Robinson pick. I love the Patrick Paul pick though.
Now, here's a point that something I've been talking about in the last couple of weeks. I think we get an extra one if we had one more solid receiver. Corley's unproven. I don't like him as number 3. Thoughts? I think the Jets are hoping they can get anything out of Allen Lazard. You get something out of him, Corley, you feature Conklin. And then if things are going in their way, which you referenced earlier, the trade deadline comes at you. And then you say, you know what? All right, we know what we have. We are this close to being, a very high-level team. You go make a move for Cortland Sutton, or you try to get maybe Devontae Adams, where else is that? Because wide receiver to me is still a concern because of Mike Williams' injury problem. That's just, we don't know what he is until we see it week in and week out. So do you have that kind of same feeling where you're kind of concerned, but if it gets difficult, they can make a trade? They get the 3rd round pick in the draft, the extra pick for next year. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I mean, to Nicholas's kind of point, let's just bring up the worst case scenario, right?
Yep.
Corley is terrible,
Yep.
and Lazard is terrible again, and Mike Williams is beat up. Well, you know, it's a lot of ifs.
Yep.
And if these bad things are happening, it's like, all right, we'll go make a trade for somebody. We're not just going to say, all right, man,
Yeah.
this freaking sucks. We'll just have to deal with it. I think that trade deadline is going to be huge. Even
Yep.
if we really need wide receivers or not, I still feel like we're going to be active in that market.
Yep. No, I agree. Now, here's the interesting thing. The high ceiling he has is 14 is 3. Realistic is 12 and 5, 11-6. Hope not another 11, 7 and 11. I think what's your based on like you have like those catch games, those trap games, everything like that. What is your low point? What do you think is worst case scenario for the Jets? Even like is it like 9 wins is like their low?
It's like, are you talking 9 wins if everybody's healthy?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like yeah. What's like yeah.
Because I don't want to go down the hypothetical of like, all right, well, if Rodgers gets hurt again, and how would Tyrod do against the
No, just they
Steelers?
stayed healthy and they just played it out, but tough matchups, tough games, 6 night games. What's
I
like
would say
what's
if
your floor?
everybody-
Was it?
Yeah, I would say if everybody's healthy and things are just going poorly, right? Like we just don't have any chemistry on the offensive line. Hackett's holding the team back, whatever it is. No leadership from whatever it is. I think 9 wins is probably the floor.
That's
8,
kind of
9
where
wins.
I'm at too.
Like, and
I'm
that
kind of
means everything. Mike Williams is disappointing, and again, not assuming injuries, but our free agents just look old and slow and beat up, and we got guys overpaid. And Lazard doesn't step up, and we have no surprises all over the roster, no impact from the rookie class. I still feel like it's 8, 9 wins.
yeah, I'm the same thing. I think the floor is like 8, 9 wins, and then the ceiling is, man, you can make it. I can make a case for 12.
Dude,
I
I
just,
would say 13, man. Like
you
at
can
the,
say that, yeah,
I mean, like, dude, like kind of worst case scenario, opposite, like flipped, right? What's the best case scenario?
yep,
Rookies are dominating. All of our free agents are working out. Tyron Smith is back playing great football. Roger stays healthy, and he
he's an
kind of looks like his
MVP.
old self.
Yep.
Reese is back running. Our O line is good. I mean, I could see us sweeping Miami then. I could
Now,
see us beating Pittsburgh.
no, you could listen. I can make 12. Like that's the whole thing. It's like before we go to Oscar's question is if Rodgers is playing like an MVP, that changes everything. If he's playing like I'm assuming top 10, top 12 quarterback. If he's playing like a top 6 quarterback in football, that changes everything, man. That means you're making these like my 9 wins goes to 12, 13. I'm smiling about it. Now, Oscar the Grouch, a big fan of yours, by the way. He's a very big fan of yours, Ian, just so you know. Can you see Olu playing by week 6 if Smith isn't consistent enough or he's not healthy? Oof.
Oh yeah,
That would be
I
rough.
would say so. Yeah. I mean,
All right.
that's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I like Fashanu a lot. I could definitely see him out there. I don't see a situation where, if we're losing games because of Tyron Smith, like we lost games last year because of like Dwayne Brown, maybe early on. I mean, like think back to that Cowboys Jets game. You just think of Micah Parsons just ripping right
Oh.
behind. If we're having multiple games like that and we're just seeing Rodgers getting just destroyed, I could see the Jets making a move.
Now, here's an interesting one. Is there any shot Olu is plugged in at left guard this season over Simpson?
I think you got to keep him a tackle.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I could see in a desperate situation, he goes to right tackle, left tackle, right tackle. I don't think they go the guard route with him, though. But I've been wrong a million times before, but I don't. Could you see him in a pinch playing right tackle?
Right tackle is more realistic than left guard to me because I feel like where Fashanu shines is like athleticism off the edge. Being able to bait and maneuver DNs off the edge, not necessarily like a mauling guard.
Yep. No, I agree with you. Let's see. This is the one that I hear a lot. We went 7-10 last year. I think we're going to do a lot better. I mean, the Jets did what they did last year with absolutely no quarterback play whatsoever, like minimal quarterback play. And you got to figure that's probably the biggest upgrade out of all of this. As much as you like the improved offensive line, it's the quarterback play is going to be significantly better, and the backup is significantly better,
and the O line too. Like, I would assume the offensive line isn't going to be absolutely horrible like it was
Yep.
last year.
Yep. No, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I guess it just comes down to health at this point, right? Like your biggest, like when you look at the team as a whole, like what's your biggest concern? I don't think there's any gaping hole where like, oh, I have a concern. Like you could say, you know what, wide receiver, a little bit nervous there. To me, it's like Rodgers coming back fully healthy, and that's really it. Like just keep everybody healthy. And I think this team has enough talent. Or you could say coaching. You could be you hold that whole Hackett article that came out just pissed me off to no end. But I mean, that's really it could come down to literally coaching being the difference between the Jets being the Bills for the division, right? Because talent for talent, they could probably match up with anybody. It could come down to that.
Yeah, and like Matt's putting in the in the chat there that the weakness is the coaching staff. Yeah.
Yep.
The whole Hackett article is freaking weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, and that it's another point too, with the whole starting fast thing. If we start 2-5 or 3-5, whatever, I don't like how Saleh like is constantly caring what the media has to say and storylines and articles. Like, why are you focused on that stuff? So if we're 5-2 or 6-3 or whatever it is, I think a lot of those articles will be positive, and I think just having that monkey off of his back, I think will bode well for the Jets locker room.
All right, a couple more here real quick. Biggest question going into the season is what the heck does Saleh look like with a quarterback and a functional offense? Maybe he will actually show emotion. Well, I mean, him playing with the lead be a big difference. Him playing with an offense that can score 24, 27 points a game is a big difference. Then it'll come down to time management, roster management, game management, and he's got to show improvement there. But I mean, he's got a lot to prove too, man. I don't to say he's a bad coach because he's got a bad quarterback. I don't necessarily always agree with that. But Oscar, but another hard-hitting question for you. Who is your surprise cut before training camp? Before training camp. Wow.
I don't think anybody gets cut before training camp. That would be a surprise. But if it's after training camp or during training camp,
a surprise cut. Izzy?
Maybe, dude. I don't know. I don't want to.
It'd be Izzy.
That's saying Izzy.
Michael Clemens. I guess Michael Clemens could be, but if they do that, they have to sign somebody else. They can't cut Lazard. They're not cutting any of the receivers, running backs, offensive linemen. Nobody's gonna get crazy there. The tight ends, nobody's gonna go there, right? Linebackers. It'd probably be somebody at defensive line, if anywhere. Where else can you cut somebody?
Well, I guess this is like a bit of a caveat, but if the Jets end up signing like a Quandre Diggs or Justin Simmons, I could see us parting ways with maybe one of the safeties on the team. I don't see us rolling into the season with like 4 or 5.
Well, I like Eccles. I think Eccles is a very good backup corner. Jason Brownlee, the Jets appear to love him. I know Rodgers loves Jason Brownlee, so I don't. That'd be a surprise, I guess, right?
What about Xavier Gibson?
Another one who he's shown flashes, but he also had drops and fumbles and all kinds of stuff there too. That guy's interesting too. Yeah, wide receivers.
Because like if Corley comes in and does his job, gosh, I don't know. I like Gibson a lot though.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So now we did it. We have the Jets going at least 11 wins. We're talking AFC East, talking playoffs. Now that you had a chance to digest this schedule quickly over the last hour, any thoughts, overall thoughts on it? Are you excited? Are you hesitant? Are you overwhelmed by all the night games and the 2 Thursday night games?
I mean, there's some things I love about the schedule, and there's things I hate about the schedule. I love the order of the teams that we play. I think there's a really, really good chance we're going to be multiple games above 500 if the Jets actually execute and take care of business and beat the teams that they should.
Yep.
We will be 5-3 or 6-2 by week 9, which is freaking awesome.
Yep.
So you're going into the and then also too, think about this for a sec. If you're 5-3 going into week 9, you have home Texans, away Cardinals, home Colts, bye home Seahawks.
Yep.
You have 3 home games, one bye week and one road game, and the one road game you should beat. So that like 5-week stretch, it's going to be, I mean, literally 4 out of those weeks, the Jets will be in New Jersey.
Yep.
That's freaking awesome.
Yep.
2 of those games are against AFC opponents that have playoff aspirations. And then the one road game is a team that we should take care of business against. So, so if you're 5-3 or 6-2, you're looking at the next month saying, you know what? Bye week's coming up. We got freaking 3 home games, and a one road game is against Arizona. Yep. It's not like at Buffalo or whatever, or at Pittsburgh. Like, that's pretty. I like that. I like that position.
Yeah, I like the way the schedule's set up in terms of the teams are playing up in the first before the bye. It sets you up to fatten your record, get in sync, establish your program, establish that winning culture that you need, get yourself ready for the trade deadline, have a winning record, get in position for that. It gets you prepared for that difficult stretch run where you're playing much better teams. And, you have the Dolphins twice, the Bills, the Rams, Jaguars. I like it, dude. I do. I hate, like, I'm with, was it Mr. Deliri? I hate the fact that the fans are getting screwed. The season ticket holders are no doubt getting screwed this year. I hate that. But the way the schedule, like Ian, what you said, the way the teams are lined up and who they are on paper on May 15th, listen, you can go 8-3 into the bye. That puts you in such a good position for that stretch run, make a run at the AFC East, make a run at a good seed, win all these things. I think it works out well for them, man. It's just got to stay healthy, and you got to, the coaching staff's got to step up. But I'm excited, man. Like, the only thing is, like, working through these, like having a job and going through the schedule, like, dude, there's gonna be so many days at work and be freaking half asleep, and just it's gonna be brutal, man.
Yeah, dude. I hate the primetime games, man. I love the London one. And I can understand, like a Monday night, but I want more 1:00 games.
Yep. Yeah, and this isn't a Woody thing, man. This is the NFL. The NFL they don't care about the fans. They want to make as much money humanly possible on streaming networks, night games, and Aaron Rodgers sells tickets. The Jets, whether they're good or bad, are always must-watch TV because everybody wants to see what's going to happen, So, Afram is our record guy. He's like our stats guy. And I think every year he has us at 14-3. He's pretty consistent with this.
Hey, that'd be an awesome record, man. Awesome record.
So, any final thoughts? This is an hour and 10 minutes somehow doing a schedule. I don't know how the hell we did this, but any final thoughts?
I think we're in a good place. I just hate the primetime games. I guess I don't want to use the word advice because that sounds like, what the hell do I know? But the thing that I would suggest is to not read the headlines. If I'm the New York Jets, if you're winning, if you're losing, just keep the head down and keep on, making noise every single week on the field. Yep. I don't want to hear about like us, talking to the opponent or us like trying to hype. I don't like those like little one-liners that Saleh says.
Yeah.
Like at the other team. And then if they lose, it's just like he's in a bad mood and like poor us type of mentality. I just don't like that at all.
Yeah, I think speaking of guys talking trash, Deion Dawkins doesn't shut up. But I think the one thing the Jets probably learned last year from the Hard Knocks experience and just all their hype and all their talk and to fall short to the point. I haven't skipped your comments, man. I'm not skipping comments. But I think the Jets learned a lot of lessons, man. I think they did because, right? They had to. When you lose and the way they lost you with all that fanfare and all this and just come out short and getting attacked on social media or where else, I think they realized that, you know what? We got to just stay true to ourselves. And I think, honestly, I'm hoping that Aaron Rodgers being here helps as well, too. Him running the show instead of having quarterbacks that don't know what they're doing. I think having a leader like that running your team may keep them grounded, too.
For sure. So Saul is actually in the chat. He said, "Don't worry, everybody. We are in good hands. He is improved as a head coach."
Yeah.
And also Matt said something funny. No solo one-liners and no interviews with Hackett. Yeah, like it just kind of I don't like the mantras and the like to me, like you can't throw stones at other teams.
Yep.
If we are constantly finishing beneath 500. If you're Andy Reid and you want to take a shot, all right. if you are John Harbaugh or even Zach Taylor, right? Sean McVay, you want to, throw a jab at another team. All right, is what it is. But I don't want to hear about, oh yeah, we dominated the quarterbacks and stuff like that. And then when things don't go our way, it's like, oh, well, there's negative headlines and stuff. Like, just don't give them any reason. I kind of want us to I kind of want Salah to take a page out of like the Belichick, press conference. Just be boring as hell. I would be totally fine if Salah just mumbles his way through the rest of the season. It's like, I don't know, we just got like,
this
I'm
comment
totally cool with that. Like, hey, cool.
This comment, when he said it's too good to not work, I was out of my mind. I'm like, he just drives me crazy. And then when Hackett talks, the more Hackett talks, the more I hate him. With his comments about Brees Hall and stuff, and even the way he talks about the offense, I'm just like, oh. So Coach has another comment for us. We got to wait for that. And then got to give credit to the other team. They're a hell of a group. They came out prepared. That's one of the Jets. That's Salah's go-to, man. They lose by 40. He's always gives endless praise to the other team. I hate that. That drives me crazy. It does.
See, I actually don't mind it that much.
Bro, I hate that. It's like, stop telling me how good everybody else is. Why can't we be good? Look at the tape. You haven't seen we haven't done like a really good when the Jets lose and Salah is one of those pressers. We haven't talked after one of those games, dude. I lose my mind because he talks, and the more you hear him talk, you're like, bro, stop. Just stop giving everybody else credit. Take accountability for your own lousy performance. Oh,
dude, Todd Bowles was the ultimate master of just to execute.
Yeah,
gotta get back and watch the tape.
Yeah, it's so bad. All right, Sal, where's your comment at? We're waiting for you so we can end the stream. Thank you guys for joining us too. I think there's like 5 other streams going on right now, so we definitely appreciate it. Look at the tape. Where's the other one? Thank you, man. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it, Clancy. Clancy, this is like my 3rd comment I got of yours. Who had a better offense, Gase or Salah? They both suck.
By the numbers, it was Gase.
It was. Yeah, Ian hasn't watched. He hasn't watched our stream when the teams lose, man. He hasn't because we go off the rails. All right, here we go. Just win and everything else doesn't matter. Our last comment of the night from Coach Salah, Ian's best friend. The problem, why is it a shot at me? The problem I have with Tyson is he doesn't want me to be successful as a head coach. He wants me to fail so he can give me the Zach Wilson treatment. He wants me to fall, but I will rise like a champion. See, contrary to your belief, Coach, I want you to win because I'm tired of losing. And I'm tired of seeing you lose. I'm tired of seeing the Jets lose. I'm actually rooting for you. So if you don't win this year, you're getting fired. And then we have to go through a whole new coaching search, a new quarterback, and poor Ian's going to lose. Because let's not forget how the turmoil that Ian went through last year. He was a beaten fan at one point last year. You were demoralized for a good couple of weeks there. So,
yeah, dude, it was freaking tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like the problem that I had with the Jets last year was all the hype.
Yep.
Man, all the hype, and I just didn't like the oh, we're coming type of we're gonna put teams on notice type of thing, and then to A, not back it up, but then B, to kind of just, I don't like the victim mentality. It's just like I prefer the coaches that just, even if they're short or a little bit rude or whatever the case may be, I would prefer to just have a coach just be boring at the presser, like not necessarily Bill Belichick all the time.
Can we address this too, by the way? Because last year, we just started doing our podcast last year, which was fun. And the Jets playing terribly. You were defeated and frustrated. We were all like really pissed. And the rumor was that my negativity brought you down and you were mad at, like, I was bringing down your morale. But the fact it wasn't me. You know who it was? It was that guy that ruined your morale right there.
No, it was everybody. It was everybody, including Joe Douglas. Dude, there was countless. I mean, there's so many areas that you can put the finger at, right? Whether it was Zach, whether it was Hackett, whether it was Saleh or Joe Douglas or the O-line, or just being mad about the injuries, being mad about the schedule. And it was just tough, man. Like, because with the Adam Gase era, realistically speaking, man, like, who actually envisioned Adam Gase like celebrating with like a Lombardi trophy. Like, we did it. Nobody. And then with Todd Bowles, it was like, yeah, that 2015 year was awesome. And then we like started like the rebuild after 2016.
Yep.
So it's like, all right, we know we're not going to go win 13 games, but can we show signs of improvement? Once that improvement stalled, then I was out.
Yep.
On just the regime, really. And then, with Saleh, it's like, all right, first year head coach, you're starting a rookie quarterback. There were maybe some coaching flaws there, some organizational flaws, but you know what? Hey, we're all young. Everybody's in this together. We're on the right track.
Yep.
And 1 year passes and we get some, negatives or question marks or concerns. And, we didn't really improve upon them. We had the same exact issues the following year and just kind of felt like a wasted year. And it's like, all right, second year, it is what it is. We'll move forward into year 3. Then they start adding all these pieces, right? You get the 2 rookies of the year. The previous year, they're going into year 2. You go get Aaron Rodgers and all these different free agents and whatnot. Dalvin Cook and Alan Lazard, Adrian Amos, all these different guys. And all the talk and Woody Johnson and Saleh, everybody's just hyping the team up. We're better than everybody else. Hard Knocks.
Yep.
And then we have a similar season as we did the previous couple. It's like, and I had my issues with Joe Douglas too, because it's like, it just felt like he was not proactive at all.
Yep.
And fans were literally talking about it on the internet. That didn't matter where. Sports radio, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, text with, our buddies, like obvious moves that should have been made that just weren't. They just weren't being made. It just felt like he mailed it in. And it's like, Douglas is the guy that has been here for years, because the one defense that Saleh can have is he can only play the players that the Jets have. He can't just say, all right, well, Trent Williams is going to be the tackle this week. He can't do that. He can't say a free agent's going to be starting because he's not on the team. And why were we depleted outside of injuries? Because of Joe Douglas. Saleh isn't, out there executing those moves. So I felt like it was a real lack of foresight from JD. And another thing that really bothers me was that Joe Douglas inherited a team with like, what was it, $80-90 million in cap space?
Yep.
I mean, he's coming into a fresh organization with so many different opportunities to get better. And I understand we're in a good division, but I mean, not every team has the luxury of being able to walk in and have 90 mil at your disposal to just make the team better. And then you look at the 8 draft picks or 7 draft picks that 7 first round draft picks that Douglas has had. And if you start comparing all those first rounders, not to mention all the seconds and thirds, to what a normal GM has to deal with, which is, 4 first rounders in 4 years.
Yep.
It's like, oh, man, like, so you have a ton of cap space, a ton of first round picks, been here for years. This is your coach and your quarterback, and your quarterback's not working out. And just to see JD just throw his hands up and kind of give up after 1 week, in my opinion, just really rubbed me the wrong way, because you're not just wasting a year and just, Rodgers, we got to wait for him to come back. You're wasting a cheap deal on Breece Hall's contract, on ABT, on Sauce Gardner, on Garrett Wilson. You're wasting a year of Quinn Williams' prime. Yep. DJ Reed, one of his 3 years of his contract. I don't think it sends a great message to the young players in the locker room, where it just kind of felt like we were enabling losing. So sorry to go on a little rant here. It kind of
the moral of the story was, and nothing to do with me bringing you down. It was the team. It was Douglas. It was Saleh. It was Hackett. It was everybody else. It wasn't me. So take all the allegations away. I didn't bring Ian down. I was just a victim of the bad team as well. Real quick prediction for Poirier versus Islam. I'm actually fortunate enough to actually watch Islam train right now. He's actually at our school training, which is absolutely insane. So
That's sweet.
It is just wild. Like his training camp, to watch these guys train and how they prepare is absolutely insane. So I'm biased as hell for that. So, Oscar, thank you. We are back. Yeah, I'm sure Jake's stream is absolutely crazy. So, thank you guys for joining us. We covered this. We covered this, the schedule, and then as the season plays out, we're doing all kinds of like our weekly stream. I think we're picking on Tuesday. We're going to do right. We start doing Tuesdays. So right now
we'll lock that in on a permanent day.
Yeah, because we've been bouncing around all over the place. So we go back and forth on his channel, this channel. We're gonna get a set date and set times. Everybody knows when it is, and that's it, man. We survived. We made it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we will talk to you guys very soon. And you can say give your ending, man. Everybody likes your ending. And
yeah, and as always, go Jets. Let's go.